Arizona, a land of breathtaking deserts, rugged canyons, and towering saguaro cacti. It's a place where nature's beauty is undeniable, but so is its power. Every summer, the skies over this arid state transform as monsoon season arrives. The air grows thick with humidity, storm clouds roll in, and sudden downpours turn dry riverbeds into raging torrents. For one family, caught in the heart of an Arizona monsoon, this natural phenomenon became a nightmare. What started as a peaceful day outdoors ended in tragedy as floodwaters swept through with unstoppable force. In this video, we'll explore the power of Arizona's monsoon season, the dangers of flash flooding, and the heartbreaking story of a family that found themselves at the mercy of nature's fury. Welcome to Risky Reality, where risks become reality. Before I start the video, don't forget to like this video. The goal for March is to reach 200 subscribers, so make sure to subscribe to the channel. For now, let's continue the video. Arizona is a land of extremes. With its sweeping deserts, towering rock formations, and relentless summer heat, it is both breathtaking and unforgiving. But while the sun often dominates the landscape, another force of nature shapes the state each year: the monsoon. From mid-June through September, Arizona experiences a dramatic shift in weather patterns. The monsoon season brings towering storm clouds, booming thunder, and torrential downpours. These storms can be mesmerizing, with flashes of lightning streaking across the sky and rain cascading onto the parched land. But with these storms also come flash floods, sudden, violent torrents of water that can sweep away everything in their path. Unlike the slow, steady floods of river deltas or coastal storms, Arizona's flash floods strike with little warning. The ground, hardened by months of dryness, cannot absorb the sudden deluge. Water rushes downhill, gathering speed as it barrels through ravines, canyons, and dry creeks. Within minutes, a trickling stream can transform into a raging current strong enough to carry away vehicles, trees, and even people. One such place prone to these deadly floods is Water Wheel, a popular recreation area near Payson. Surrounded by pine forests and rocky cliffs, it is a beautiful escape from the heat. Families visit its swimming holes and natural slides, seeking relief in the cool mountain waters. But in July 2017, Water Wheel became the site of an unimaginable tragedy. That summer, a storm had formed over the Mogollon Rim, a high-elevation plateau that stretches across central Arizona. Though the storm raged miles away, the rain it unleashed sent torrents of water rushing downhill. Mud, rocks, and branches were swept up in the current, creating a thick, surging mass that sped toward unsuspecting visitors below. That day, Garcia and his extended family had set out from Phoenix, eager to celebrate his sister's birthday. Their original destination had been Tonto Natural Bridge, but along the way, they decided instead to visit Water Wheel. The skies were cloudy, and there was a chance of rain, but the family remained optimistic. They were used to Arizona's unpredictable weather and believed they could enjoy their day safely. As they settled in, the creek ran calmly, offering a peaceful retreat from the summer heat. The children splashed in the water, the adults laughed and shared stories, and the family enjoyed their long-awaited gathering. What they didn't know was that upstream, an unstoppable force was already in motion. Far above them, rain poured over the Mogollon Rim, feeding into the streams that would soon carry destruction toward Water Wheel. Within moments, what had been a quiet, shallow creek turned into a deadly flood. The water, thick with debris, came crashing through the canyon with terrifying speed. A wave, nearly 5 feet high, slammed into the family before they could react. The impact was immediate. The force of the current knocked people off their feet, sending them tumbling downstream. Screams were drowned out by the roar of the rushing water. Garcia grabbed onto his nephew's shirt, trying to hold on, but the surge was too powerful. The boy was torn from his grasp, disappearing into the raging flood. With his daughter clutched tightly in his arms, Garcia was carried 65 feet downriver. As floodwaters twisted and turned through the canyon, he managed to latch onto a tree. He held on with everything he had, refusing to let go of his little girl. The scene was chaotic. Family members desperately reached for anything that could anchor them against the force of the water, but the flood showed no mercy. Within minutes, 10 lives were lost, including young children, siblings, and parents. What had begun as a joyful family outing had turned into a nightmare. As the water receded, the reality of the devastation became clear. Bodies were found entangled in debris, swept miles downstream. Rescuers worked tirelessly, pulling victims from the rubble, hoping against hope for survivors. But for Garcia and the few who survived, the horror was only beginning. They had lost nearly everything in the span of minutes. And in the days to come, they would have to face the heartbreaking aftermath of a tragedy that would forever change their lives. The day after the flood, the true scope of the devastation began to unfold. Emergency responders worked tirelessly, scouring the riverbanks, combing through debris, and pulling bodies from the wreckage left behind. The once tranquil water wheel area now bore the scars of nature's unrelenting power: mud-caked boulders, uprooted trees, and the scattered belongings of a family whose lives had been forever changed. For Garcia, the hours after the flood were a blur of shock and desperation. He and his wife, Abigail Atondo, along with their two young children, Marina and Ryden, were among the only survivors. As they held each other tightly, their hearts ached for the loved ones they had lost. 10 members of their family, including Garcia's sister, nieces, nephews, and his mother, Celia, had been swept away. The youngest victim was just 2 years old. Search teams continued their efforts in the days that followed. Helicopters hovered over the rugged landscape, while rescuers in kayaks and rafts navigated the swollen creek, hoping to recover every last victim. One of the bodies would not be found until days later, miles downstream from where the flood had first struck. Each recovery brought another wave of grief, as the family's worst fears were confirmed again and again. As the community mourned, Arizona officials renewed their warnings about the dangers of flash flooding. The monsoon season, though vital to replenishing the dry landscape, was a double-edged sword. The same waters that created hidden oases in the desert could also turn them into death traps. Water Wheel, Havasupai Falls, Slide Rock, Fossil Creek. These beloved retreats were all vulnerable to the same kind of disaster that had claimed Garcia's family. Meteorologists explained how storms, even those that seemed distant, could unleash flash floods in a matter of minutes. Rainfall from higher elevations raced downhill, filling dry riverbeds and slot canyons with violent currents before anyone had a chance to escape. The tragedy of Water Wheel was a heartbreaking reminder that, in Arizona, water could be just as dangerous as fire. In the wake of the flood, local authorities placed new warning signs around popular recreation areas, urging visitors to remain cautious during monsoon season. But for those who had lost loved ones, no sign could erase the pain or bring back what was taken from them. Garcia and his wife would go on to share their story, hoping that their unimaginable loss could serve as a warning to others. He spoke of the moments leading up to the flood, the helplessness felt as his family was torn from his grasp, and the sheer force of nature that had turned a peaceful creek into a deadly torrent. He wanted people to understand that no matter how beautiful these places seemed, they were not without risks. Each year, new families venture into Arizona's rivers and canyons, seeking adventure and relief from the relentless desert sun. Most will return home with memories of laughter, cool waters, and the beauty of the wild. But the story of Garcia's family stands as a solemn reminder. When a monsoon rains arrive, nature does not wait, and it does not show mercy. The flood that took his family was not the first of its kind, and it would not be the last. But if even one life could be saved by telling their story, then perhaps, in the midst of all the loss, there could still be something left behind: an understanding, a caution, and a deep respect for the power of the land and the waters that shape it.